guys, it's Shame Busting Coach Jen Bovey from www.jenbovey.com. How are you? Want to talk to you guys about the shame of procrastination, because this is a big issue and I hear this all the time, which doesn't really make sense to me given the knowledge that I have, but it's okay if this is your experience. And I want to shed some light on what procrastination is really about. So there's this whole societal garbage, right, about people who procrastinate. And we almost act as if they're lazy, as if they're not as driven as the rest of us, as if they're not as motivated, as they're not as much of a self-starter, as they're not as much, they're not able to independently motivate themselves. And I don't think any of that's accurate. Actually, I don't think anything's wrong with procrastinating, but I think we need to really call it what it is. It's not necessarily procrastinating. Really what it is it's being pressure prompted, because people that are pressure prompted take off like a rocket when the right amount of pressure is in place. My husband is very much a pressure prompted person. I am not, and I will get to that in a minute. So when he has a deadline or something is due, or he knows he has to have this done by this date, he can wait till the absolute last second and then he can pull it off. And it's like magical. But that's not how my brain works at all. When my daughter was graduating from high school, like, we knew we were gonna have a graduation party at our house, and I wanted the house to be perfect, immaculate, a little controlling and a little perfectionistic, but it's fine. And so I created a spreadsheet of things that everybody could do every day, and it would take like less than 10 minutes. And I thought it was the best plan ever. This would get us on track. We would be done. We would be ahead of schedule. We would not be running around like lunatics with our heads cut off at the last second. We would not be like pulling out all the stops at the very last minute, cleaning everything neurotically. We would be prepared. We would be relaxed. It would be done. It would be amazing. Guess what happened? I realized very quickly that I live with pressure-prompted people. So because they're pressure-prompted, I handed them this schedule and they were like, what is this? And I just explained to them, this is a great way for you to get this stuff done in time, you see? I'm being helpful. But they did not perceive it as helpful because they did not want my influence, actually. So I had to step back and realize that their brain works where they're prompted by pressure. So the deadlines many times need to be external, but it's still pressure prompted. So I want you to, if you have ever been called a procrastinator, I really want you to ditch that label, and I want you to ditch the shame. Hey, Amanda, because it's not accurate. You're not procrastinating. You've just not found the right motivators. I'm not a pressure prompted person in most aspects, just because my brain is a little bit too neurotic and a little bit too controlling, and I like to have lists, and I like to know what I'm working on, and I like to know what's next. Pressure prompted people don't typically like lists, and they like to just do, and that's okay. And the beauty of life is that we can be different people, but we don't need to shame people for how their brain works. So the next time somebody accuses you of being a procrastinator, I'd love for you just to take a moment and evaluate, are you really procrastinating things? Or do you just not have the right pressure in place to motivate you? Because I found with a lot of my pressure prompted people, that's exactly what it is. There's not the pressure in place to motivate them, so they don't ever get off the chair. Does that make sense? So if you're a pressure prompted person, let's agree to ditch the shame of the procrastination world. And if you're not a pressure prompted person, I'm not a pressure prompted person, let's agree to not shame other people for their brains working differently. Amanda says, oh, I love this perspective. I'm definitely pressure prompted more often than not. My husband is so much. I suspect that both of my kids are as well. I know my son is. I'm pretty sure my daughter is. But I'm not, and that's okay. But the reality is we don't need to shame people for their brains working differently. We don't, well, we do. We call people who are not pressure prompted, who have lists and control and have plans. We call those control freaks. That's still shaming, but I really want to encourage you guys to ditch the label of procrastination, because it's not accurate and because it's not working for you and it's not helping you and it's not motivating you. So find some pressure, put it in place, and let's move forward. Thanks for being here. Check out my website. Have a great day. Bye.